healing and self-love tips for entrepreneurs. So I absolutely love working with entrepreneurs because one, I identify with them, but two, entrepreneurship is very heavily tied to the level of mindset and personal development that you've personally done. There's a reason why when you go into Barnes & Noble, you realize that the business section is right beside the personal development section. And the reason why is because these two things are deeply, deeply tied together. I always tell my clients that your business will reflect how you see yourself, because who you are from a personal level will reflect, and actually you will bring in that personal person into your business. So if you're someone who can't, let's say, stay on time, discipline, always got a few things left undone, right? So you don't have your I's dotted and you don't have your T's crossed. If you're someone like that, there's a very good chance that I can look within your business and notice there's a few loose screws, a few things that are left undone, unmet, things like that. It's because, again, you will reflect your business and vice versa. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of our mental health the same way that we're taking care of our business. And one of the best ways to do that is to focus on the self-love tips and also the healing tips. So before I go into this first point, make sure you subscribe to this channel, especially if you're an entrepreneur, because a lot of the advice that I give applies to you guys. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Now, before I get too deep into this podcast episode, one thing that I do want to do is I do want to define what healing is, because I feel like there's a little bit of a misconception about what healing is. So I want to give you guys a definition for it. So healing is not necessarily getting rid of your past, because that's impossible. It's impossible to forget that person that done you wrong, to forget that upbringing that you had, forget that person that you've lost. It's very hard to forget these things. They're part of who you are, but it doesn't mean that's a bad thing, okay? So again, healing doesn't mean that we're getting rid of our past, but it's learning how to live with your past in a healthy way. Because when we live with it in a healthy way, it allows us to continue to move our life forward. Believe it or not, a lot of entrepreneurs, right? And I'll even say a lot of high performers, they have typically gone through something very traumatic in their life, which has pushed them, which has motivated them to take actions and risks that other people wouldn't. It's because of this fear of experiencing this pain again that they're able to reach deep into some reservoir that other people who have not gone through something traumatic can't reach. That is something that you just cannot create. It's something that unfortunately has to be given to you from another outside source. So again, this is from that trauma, the tough things that we experience. Okay, so I do want to define what healing is. Now, with that being said, first point, the first thing that you need to do to help you with your healing and your self-care, right? These self-care tips. And it may sound simple, but I do need you to find a therapist. But even more specifically, find a therapist that specializes in your problems. I'll give you guys a great example. If you were having back problems, I would say yes, you should go to your doctor. You should have them take a look, right? Try to help you. But there's a high chance that that doctor is going to give you a referral to see a chiropractor, because chiropractors, they specialize in back issues, okay? It's the same thing with therapists. People tend to believe that all therapists are made the same. All of us, yes, we have a degree. We are all licensed, right? We've all taken very similar tests to get to where we are. But the different modalities that each therapist uses is totally different. The experiences that therapist has also experienced are totally different. And as a result, there are going to be some therapists out there that are just going to be a hand in glove fit for you. And then there's going to be some therapists you're not going to get too far with. But I need you guys to be willing to find those therapists that specialize in the issues that you're having, and also be willing to pay them. Some people sometimes feel like all therapists are the same. You can find them a dime a dozen, and as a result, they pay as if there are dozens of therapists out there that can help them. But what if there's only one therapist out there that was able to help you with your problem? Would you then be willing to pay them? And when I say help you, what I'm really trying to say, and what I probably should emphasize, is that one, they're able to get you to that place faster, but two, the chances, the likelihood of you accomplishing all your goals in therapy is probably higher with a specific therapist. Now, what some people will do is they'll find a therapist who may be cheaper and stay with that therapist for a long time and end up spending more money than they would have the therapists that specialize with what they're going through. It's because they think they're being cheap, they're saving money, right? They're getting a deal, if you will. But all that's doing is prolonging the success, and it's actually costing you time and money. Now, if that's something that you love doing in your free time, spending your time, wasting your money, then hey, by all means, you can find a therapist on any platform, and most of them would be happy to take your money. But if you're someone that's serious, I need you to invest in yourself in a serious way. So again, I know it sounds like a common sense thing, but I do need you to find a therapist. Point number 2, one of the best ways to help therapists overcome some of their traumas and to heal, and this is a very, very little known secret, but one of the best ways to help entrepreneurs overcome their traumas is to actually find a community. By far, one of the biggest things that I've had my clients do this year, the ones that have experienced unimaginable trauma, is that I've had them join Facebook groups that specialize in the issues that they're going through. So I've had clients join Facebook groups for women that have been sexually abused. I've had women join Facebook groups that involve people getting divorces, going through breakups, have lost their spouse, whether it be through a breakup or through a death. And I've also had clients join Facebook groups where they have lost a kid through incarceration, okay? So being arrested, all right, going to prison. And that's just the bare minimum. That's just the tip of the iceberg. You know, there's so many different groups out there that you can find on Facebook, but even off of Facebook, where there are people that specialize in the area that you're having problems with. And what this does is it gives you a community to where you can find resources and help from people that are going through the exact same things that you're going through. One thing that I realized when I was working in an addiction center, okay, so anyone suffering from addictions of whether it's marijuana, alcohol, cocaine, heroin, or anything like that, one of the biggest things that I realized was that one of the biggest benefits that the members got wasn't necessarily from the advice and the guidance that I was giving them as a therapist, but it was from hearing the stories of the other members that's in the group. Because when they heard someone describe that they've gone through something that they've gone through and came out on the other side for the better, it gives them something that is unimaginably strong and helpful for them, and that is hope. Hope is by far one of the biggest things people need to lean on when they're going through a tough time. Hope will serve as that light, that beacon light, whenever you're going through that dark place. And one of the best ways to create that hope is to find other people that have been in your place and have, again, come out on the other side of it. So if you're an entrepreneur and you have some traumas in your past, I need you to find a community. Again, this can be on Facebook, but it can also be outside of Facebook. I even have some clients that are going through 12-step programs. So again, if you're suffering with alcohol addictions or drug addictions, joining something like that would be very, very helpful. All right, main point number 3, and this one's all about that self-love, okay? So how do I just give to myself? And this one may catch people off guard, but it's a real simple one. But another great way for entrepreneurs to heal is to actually celebrate themselves. This is something that I've been pushing for myself as well, but I've definitely been pushing it with some of my other clients. Now, I find something that's very interesting, and I want you guys to hear me. If you feel that you can relate to this, please leave a comment in the comment section. You can say, yeah, coach, I can relate, or say, yeah, me too, or you can even just put a thumbs up in the comments. But for some people, they grew up feeling like they weren't good enough. They felt like something was missing from their life, right? For whatever reason it may be. And as a result, their hard work or their hustle mentality is actually a trauma response for how they've been brought up. What I'm trying to say is that there's a group of people out there who believes in working hard, yes, but they work hard because they have a fear of not being good enough. And if they were to stop, they will revert back to that same little boy or little girl that was told that they weren't good enough, weren't worthy enough. And one of the ways to cut through that is to actually pause and start to celebrate the work that you've done already. I can't tell you how many people I've sat with who are high performers that tell me that they struggle with the idea of rest. They struggle with the idea of leisure activities. And what I've had to do with these guys and girls, right, women, is I had to get them to adopt a new identity, an identity of someone that is actually already successful. And as a result, they have nothing to worry about when they take time off. This helps people to heal that part of their brain that's telling them when they're working, they're good enough. And also when they're not working, they're not good enough. We got to cut through that so that you can start to be able to celebrate what you've done. As you start to celebrate what you've done, you start to feel better about yourself. And when you start to feel better about yourself, guess what happens? Your confidence starts to increase. So what I need people to do, entrepreneurs to do, is that I need you to stop, because I know the grind is long. I'm right there in it with you guys. I mean, I'm literally in the middle of a 250 slide webinar. So I'm in the thick of it with you. But I need to also tell you guys that it's important for us to stop and celebrate the work we've done and where we're currently at in life. Because another issue that people can find themselves addicted to is desire, addicted to this idea of needing more. And that right there is a devil all in it of itself. So I'll leave it at that. But again, this main point is all about celebrating yourself. That is a great way to help you to start to feel better about yourself and heal from your past. All right, main point number 4, and this is a self-love tip here, okay? But tip number 4, entrepreneurs, what I need you to do, right? An easy way to practice self-love is that I need you to raise your prices. Now, I know in your head, you're like, oh my God, if I raise my prices, I'm gonna lose clients. And yes, you will lose clients, but you're gonna lose the clients that weren't taking your services or products seriously. But also the idea of losing less, right? Trimming out the body fat, right? Trimming down the, let's say 80% and sticking to the 20%. What this does, it actually gives us the free time to reinvest in our life, but also even in the business. I'll give you guys a great example. If my prices weren't where they were, right? Because at one point in time, I was seeing close to 30 people. But if I didn't raise my prices, I would still be seeing 30 people or maybe even more. But because my prices have raised, because I'm able to make more money per client, I was able to cut that down by almost 50%. So in other words, I have time to spend with loved ones, spend with myself, spend in the business, and I'm not overworking myself. And that is the reason why we want to raise our prices. We want to raise them because we want to not be so locked into the business per se, right? Even though I know, hey, working hard is important, and I just kind of talked about that in the previous point. But we want to make sure that we're setting ourselves up to be able to step away from the business when we need to, okay? And this is when, you do your self-care, you take your vacations and all that stuff, right? I'll also even say this, right? Another great reason why we should raise our prices is because we want to also value our own time. The way that we see ourselves is reflected in our prices. If there was someone out there who was, let's say, providing a service such as helping someone with shooting basketballs, right? Let's say they were a basketball coach, and let's say they charge $10 an hour, right? Well, I'll sit there and think, well, couldn't you do something better with your time? Isn't there a better way to make more money? And this is not saying that money is the indicator, right, of success and what we should focus on. But I need that person to believe that if they wanted to charge $100, so 10x what they were doing, I need them to know that they can do it because they and their time is valuable. So then their time and even their expertise is that valuable. And that is directly tied to someone's self-worth, right? I need you guys to charge what you believe you are worth, not what people tell you that you're worth. All right, because that's also another issue sometimes people have, is they allow other people to determine their value, their worth, and not just from a monetary standpoint, but internally. And I need you guys to break free of that, and you can do that by raising your prices. And then main point number 5, the grandfather of them all. So again, these are the best ways to help you with healing and practicing self-care. But the best way to practice self-care as an entrepreneur, right? The best way to practice self-love as an entrepreneur is to take care of your mental health just as well as you do your business, okay? And I'm gonna repeat that because I want that to really soak in with you guys. So again, the best way to practice self-love as an entrepreneur is to take care of your mental health just as well as you do your business. When you stop and ask yourself, how much money do you spend in your business? Is it $100 a month, $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, right? Maybe you need help seeing how much you spend in a year. Maybe that's more easier for you to calculate. Do you feel that you're able to donate 5% of your profits to your business? Is it 10% of your profits to your business, right? Each year. I want you guys to think about how much money you're spending for coaches, software, which is a big one, courses, conferences, Facebook ads, Google ads. I I want you guys to stop and notice how much money you're spending on the business. And then I need you to stop and notice how much money you're spending on the person that is running the business. Because the one thing that makes all this go is you. It's literally you. It is your mind. It's your ability to show up each and every day and perform at the level that you need to perform at so that the business is profitable. It's very hard to do that if you're going through a mental breakdown. It's very hard to do that if you're having anxiety attacks. So we need to take care of our business the same level we do our mental health. And for a lot of you guys, you take care of your business in a very systematic way. So with the software, with the courses, the ads, right? Even the coaches that you hire, all this stuff I'm pretty sure is on a system. Meaning on Mondays at 3 p.m., we know for a fact that you're sitting down with your coach. We know that for a fact on Thursdays at, let's say, 9 a.m., you're recording your podcast, right? All this stuff is on a system, and your mental health, your self-love, your self-care also needs to be on a similar system. So what I want you to do is I want you to pick a predetermined amount of money that you're willing to spend each month, each week, or each year that is dedicated towards your self-love, your mental health. This is something that's going to help you to actually heal and focus on yourself so you can be the best version that your business needs you to be. So again, take care of your mental health the same way that you take care of your business. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to refresh these 5 points that I made when it comes to healing and self-love tips for entrepreneurs. So the first one that I stated was a simple one, but it's an important one. Find a therapist that specializes in your problems. It's plain and simple. I don't need to go even further than that. Find a therapist that specializes in your problems. We are not all made the same. Point number 2 is that the best way for entrepreneurs to heal from past traumas is to find a community. Guys, your trauma, if it's something like Mount Everest, trust me when I say you cannot scale that on your own. You need to find a group of people that has already climbed that Mount Everest that you can walk with, that can be there on that journey to give you the motivation you need when times get tough. So find a community. Main point number 3, a great way for entrepreneurs to heal is to celebrate yourself. Some of your hard work that you're putting into your business may actually be a trauma response, meaning that you work hard because you feel like you're not good enough unless you're not working hard. And sometimes people have a fear of their performance going down because when their performance goes down, what does it say about them? Also, I'll share this. There's a great show that me and my wife are watching called This Is Us, and it's on Netflix. And there's a guy named Randall who actually has a breakdown because his performance slipped when it comes to his job. So if you haven't seen that show, watch it. If you have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Main point number 3 that I made is that an easy way to practice self-love as an entrepreneur is just to simply raise your prices. Guys, I want you to value yourself the way that you should, not the way that people tell you that you should. And that comes in the form of raising your prices. And then main point number 5, the best way to practice self-love as an entrepreneur is to take care of your mental health just as well as you do your business. So all the systems that you have in place, the money that you spend into your mental health, I would tell you, take a percentage of that and invest it into your mental health. And let's see what that does for you over the course of the next 6 months. I promise you won't regret it. So this is Coach Wells. Thank you for checking out this podcast episode. And make sure you leave a comment down below and tell me what topics you would love for me to talk about. Whether it's for entrepreneurs or working professionals or husbands, fathers, mothers, wives, whatever the case it may be, whatever issues you may be going through, leave a comment and I definitely will respond to it. All right, guys, I'll see you later.